Hello everyone, Rudar here with another grounded video. In today's video I'll be going over ant eggs, how to make sure they are always populated for you, as well as dealing with the lag caused by the ants. So let's go ahead and get into this. You see I'm standing in front of some ant eggs. I have not killed all my ants. I have a system set up outside of my anthill that constantly keeps the ant population down, therefore constantly keeps ant eggs in the anthill. I'm going to look around, make sure I don't have any people watching. Oh, look, see, there's an ant right there. Oh, this might be funny. Okay, he hasn't gotten mad yet, so I'm going to grab those. Alright, I'm going to go check the second spot. Oh, he got mad. I'm going to go check the second area. Is he still following me? I've had one of them follow me through the entire anthill before. Now, there's the area with the hole in the floor. Gotta be careful of that. And you see, I have not, like I said, killed any of my ants recently, and this is what's going on. Now, when I open my inventory, you're gonna be like, oh, but you have all these ant parts in your inventory. That's not from me actively killing them. And when I go outside, you'll see what I mean. That's 9 ant eggs without me actively killing my ants. So let's run on outside. Let's go take a look. Oh yeah, third person through that tunnel of red. You get a little tricky sometimes with the camera. So go ahead and run up through here. Every now and then you can find one right there. Oh, look at that. That's 10. Oh, they're mad. Run away. So I've got 10 right there without doing anything other than walking through the anthill. I've not done any kind of attacks, and I'll show you what I have out here. I very simply have 2 ant killing systems. These work automatically. I don't have to do anything. And you see, this is where I got my ant parts from. So what it is a lure trap in the center of, what's that, 6, 8, a dozen spike strips. And they're going to walk onto it, and they're going to die. And that's they're just constantly killing themselves. So this helps with multiple things. It keeps the ant population down so that the lag stays down. I'm trying not to get have this one ant bother me. There you go. Keeps your ant population down. It even kills some aphids every now and then. Oh, that aphid went. There he is. As well as by keeping the population down, your lag stays down. Your eggs are constantly spawning in your anthill. And it's just a simple lure trap surrounded by a dozen spike strips. Now, I have worked on another building, which will be a part of this video. It's based off of a build I saw in one of my viewers' worlds, Spilltcoffee, when I did a stream with viewers recently. And I actually went into her world, and she had what I call Ant Thunderdome. For her, it was more of a corral for her to have pet ants, you know, trapped. Me, I'm going to turn it into a base/ant slaughterhouse. But you can see that's what's going on as far as these guys literally just keep dying. If you need bug rubber and you need acid glands, these are just endless supply of acid glands right there. But these guys constantly killing themselves on there, and there goes an ant part. But I'm going to switch over to creative and show you how I laid this out, which is pretty simple, and then also show the big base. And I see that I'm actually missing a spike strip right here, because there's supposed to be one more strip right there. Apparently one of them might have gotten broken. I might have upset the ants, and they attack him. You see some of these are damaged, and that is damage from when a soldier ant attacks it, because soldier ants can kill them. You see that guy was very weak from walking over the spike strips. So soldier ants can hit your spike strips, so try not to aggro them when you're nearby, when you're near your spike strips, because they will attack your spike strips. But let me go ahead and pause real quick, and I'm going to switch over to creative, and I'm going to show you the building I have, and then we'll go from there. All right, now we're back in creative, and you see I've already laid everything out, and you see the building off to the left there. I'm trying not to look at that too much. So I'm just going to move over here to a flat, wide open section, and just reset this up real quick, just to give it some helpful tips on getting it set up correctly. So in the real game, you're going to lay the blueprint for the flower first. Just the blueprint. Don't complete it yet. Then you're going to lay out your blueprint. And I did a triangle, trying to minimize how many strips I might need, but I still wound up with 12. But luckily, this area has dandelions, which, there it is. The dandelion that I'm standing next to. 2 of them right here, plus a husky weed, some more dandelions over there if you don't mind killing a bunch of stink bugs, and there's another dandelion right there. So you have a bunch of weed stems in the area. Now I'm going to lay these out and then delete 3 for a reason. They're going to go 3 wide off of the triangle. So I laid out my triangle first. Sometimes the strips are being a little finicky. Now that I've got my triangle, I got to deal with these little corner sections. So I went in with just 2 more, like so. And this is a setup I've had in my world for, I don't know, a couple of months now, like a couple of real life months. Just because lag got so bad when I was near my main base, which my main base was right here. The anthill is here, so I was really close, and I got super bad lag when I was right here. So I had to, and I knew I had to deal with the ants. So I started killing off a bunch of ants, and instead of me actively doing it, I found a passive way to do it. So you're going to set up and complete all of what you see. Complete all of that. All these spike strips going all the way around. You're going to have blueprints for spike strips right here. And the blueprint for the flower right there. The rest of it, complete. 100% all the way complete. All of that. Now, for these spike strips that are missing where I'm standing, I would complete everything except the weed stems. So have all your sap down. Have all your thistle needles down. Have all your rope already in place. And all you got to do is throw in the three weed stems and you're done. Once you have all of this completed, then complete your blueprint for your flower. Complete this, and then I would complete that while holding the necessary weed stems, excuse me, to complete that. Complete this one. As you back up, complete that one. As you back up, complete that one. And once you have all that done, then you step back, and it's going to turn into a kind of a meat grinder for ants, and it's just going to slaughter them as they try to get up to the flower. And if you put it maybe even further over, such as you build one of those and you put it, say, here, it might draw some ants, it might draw some stink bugs, and you might get kills for both. You could very well come over here one time and see a dead stink bug, or 2, or just dozens of dead ants, because the stink bugs get drawn to these as well. So depending on how close you put it to the stink bug area, which is right over there, that you see that cluster of dandelions, if you put one closer to that, you can maybe get some stink bug kills as well. So this is a simple way that I have in my world. The way I'm about to show you now is, like I said, based off of Spilltcoffee's build. But before I go into that, I do want to give a shout out to my buddy, the Mike Lowry Show, and he posted a very recent video on his ant meat grinder, which is going to be based in the same spot where mine is. I definitely want to give him a shout out because he did a very good video, very detailed video on how he has it set up in his world to trap the ants and more or less just slaughter them all. Because his build is also right over the top of the anthill. So as you see, I built a little outpost / base because I don't build small. I initially started out small and it ended up not being small. So you get the little, instead of stairs, just using the roof, it's cheaper. 1 weed stem and 4 clovers versus 4 grass and 1 weed stem. You can put all the clovers in your inventory. So I have the doors, like I said, I have the bed, little smoothing machine for making the workers' comp, making ant gear, some water for if you're in the area, and then ant heads, ant mandibles, ant body, ant parts, acid glands, I think, for a second. And then if you want to put workers' comp in here, you can. I would not store food in this area just because the ants are known for being crafty and getting up here and stealing from the player. So, and then underneath, you saw there was a little door right here on the side. There is your same setup out there, but you have the setup in here now where the ants coming out of the anthill, which you see there is no escape. They can go into, like I said, the Thunderdome, and they come up to this and they die. I would make sure when you set up your door, too, if you're going to do this, set that door so the hinge is to the right if you're facing this direction, so that when you come in, you kind of instinctively go away from the spike strips and not right into them, because that would hurt. And yes, I did put spike strips along the back as well, just because I figured the ants might circle around and, you know, do all kinds of weird things. I did try doing spike strips through the front, but they kept going down into the mud. If and when they fix the ability to put foundations all over the place, I would foundation the whole bottom of this and then have this up on the foundations and have it nice and flat and smooth. But they need to fix the foundations. Fingers crossed for a patch very soon to fix the ability to put foundations side by side. For those who are wondering what I mean, you can throw down a foundation. Well, just throw one right here. And then you see how it goes red when you try to put one next to it. Let's see, that works, but it doesn't. It's not always consistent. Now it's making me look like a liar. There we go. So you see, you can't always be consistent going next to them. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And I need it to work every time because that's just how I like to build. But I'm going to go further into this build as far as how I set this up. So you guys give me just a minute. I'm going to tear it all down except for one wall. And so I have a starting point, and then we'll start over. So give me a minute. Let me pause, and I will be right back on how I set up my little anthill outpost. So one moment. All right, now that I've kind of cleared away the building, I kind of reset it up a little bit. I was trying to leave a wall that was stuck like right here, but nothing is supported because apparently this is a hollow portion of the ground when it comes to building. So what we have here is the one wall, and then you see I have set up the 4 floor pieces just to let me know how wide it's going to be. The foundations obviously are just that. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right, we're back. I was just waiting for the day to end. I also had somebody at my door. So, as you can see, I have the foundation laid out still and one wall. And just kind of work on getting your spacing. Obviously, you're going to be able to lay out blueprints in the real game. But from there, it's going to be, as soon as I find the right wall, 2 sides going forward. And then we're going to angle this one in. And now, this does get really intensive as far as how many wheat stems I use, but then again, I'm not far from what I call wheat stem city. So to come forward, now this is just going to go forward until about maybe there. Maybe unnecessary, but no one ever said I built small. So we're just going to kind of continue on this wall. Now I'm going to bring that forward, and then I'm going to angle it back. And the reason being, I'm just kind of building the angle for the chute to bring the ants out and into where I want them to go. Random drop of water. Now this grass is here just to show you that this from one inner wall to the other inner wall is 4 sections wide. That's the only reason it's there. It actually probably could stay just to keep this nice and flat where I put the trap. And it would be kind of nice to have actual foundations through here, and that's what's going to happen in the future when foundations get fixed, is I will then put foundations through the center of this. So we're going to just kind of go around. It's one angled piece, and then we turn again. We want 2 pieces going straight, and then we're going to angle back. Wall. And this spot is where the door was. At least I think that's where it was. Like I said, make sure the hinge is away from the opening of the anthill so that when you come in, it swings and kind of blocks you from walking on top of your own spike strips. Now this gap underneath the wall over here, obviously the ants can fit under that, so you're going to have to build some walls that go down into the ground. Luckily, out here with more than half the wall sticking up, or about half the wall sticking up, it works. The reason there are foundation pieces here instead of walls is because for that very reason, I could not get a wall to go into the ground. And now we're going to do the little ground pieces, little floor pieces. Maybe unnecessary, but if you've seen any of my build videos, you know that I don't build small or necessary. It's just not me. So we're going to continue this. Now that's going to turn back straight like that. We're going to rotate that one out a little bit. And like I said, this out here is all extra. I would build up at least like this, just because the ants do have the ability to climb up in the mud. Okay, so now you have your ants come out, They go into your corral. Hopefully your door is closed. And I call it a corral because I grew up in a barn with horses, dogs, cats, cows, goats, chickens, and all the other farm animals you could think of. So for me, this is a corral. And like I said, my buddy Mike Lowry, who made a video like this, his is more like a chute. And for me, I think of a cattle chute. And the ants go into the chute, and they get just destroyed trying to get to the flower at the back end of the chute. Still like his video. I'm definitely going to have to check that out. But after seeing this build from Spilltcoffee, I think I'm going to put this in my world very, very soon. So now I'm going to put in the spike strips for the flower. So I'm going to do my 3 coming off the back. I'm going to do my flower blueprint. Remember, guys, I said flower blueprint, not the actual flower yet. You want to have your spike strips built all the way around. And when you're doing, if you decide to do this, I would leave this section open since that's the door. You would come in this way instead of having to try to work your way around and not step on spike strips and taking a ton of damage. Because obviously you're going to probably want to build this in ant armor so you don't get eaten by the ants or attacked by the ants. And ant armor does not protect you that well from damage from things like spike strips. And I know somebody's probably thinking this unnecessary to do this over there. Ants do circle around. They will circle around there like that. Now, I've tried building this. You see how it goes into the mud, and it just continues into the mud. But this one, maybe all you need. And that's going to be enough right there to, as the ants come in, they're going to get corralled into this, and they're going to die. It's just, that's just how that works. Now, of course, I like to do, actual full build so I don't fall into it, because you guys did see I had a actual base on top of this, and I will go through that from here. So the roof pieces are not necessary. If you just need something to capture and kill your ants without the roof pieces, this is all you need. I mean, this is another option, another way to do it. Now, I also would recommend having 1 or 2 of these on the outside until you can honestly say you have 100% all of your ants inside the base. Inside of here. Once they're all in here, you literally can come in here any day you need, and if you need acid glands, you need ant parts, you need more workers' comp smoothies for builds or whatever, this is a great way to do that. As well as you can come in through this door with a light and your ant armor, go down into the to the tunnels down there, and find you some ant eggs. And if the ants are aggroing your way out, that's where it gets a little tricky, because if they come out and they're aggroed onto you and you go through the door and close the door, they will attack the door. So you have to be very sneaky about that, or be prepared to kill them all. But you're always going to have ant eggs in your ant hill if you're running something like this. I would also suggest doing the roof pieces from outside, not in here. Because on the outside, you can either work your way up to the top, like so. You can get up here like this, and just work your way around. That water droplet is there because I literally had that dew collector right there, and I'm putting the base right back where I was, because I just deleted the base while I was paused. Now, that gives you the whole top piece. And for me, I'm going to put a roof and a floor over it, so in case I'm ever up here for whatever weird reason, I don't fall in and die, because that's almost instant death if you fall into that, especially depending on what you're wearing. Now, we had that one corner roof piece right here, and now I'm going to come in with the inverted corner roof piece, or the interior, and put that right there on the same side, and bring them to a point. I'm not worried about my floor at the top, because I am going to do that all the way across with regular floor. But this section right here, nope, don't want that one. I just want to close that off. I want to leave that nice little peacock tap, and that way I can come out here, go up and around. And because I'm very particular about the way my builds look, I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. There's obviously tons of grass right there, so it's not a big issue for grass. And from here, we're just going to go on and work on the little bit outpost I have that I showed at the beginning of the video. or beginning of this build, that there was an actual outpost up on top of this. So that's going to require more weed stems. Luckily, you're not far from a whole bunch of weed stems. And this is going to continue on back this way. Now, for this one, it actually angles towards the door. Towards that, not the door, where the marker is. Because you do have an ant marker if you've done the burgle quest. For the ant hill, you have a marker right here. Might want to delete it. Now, getting this to line up just right was being a little bit tricky earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and do this side real quick. Move my character out of the way before I build that. The game is kind of funny when you build on top of yourself. And then just personal preference, those two down there. They're not necessary. The ants can't squeeze through there, but if you're like me, you're going to want things to look a very, very particular way. Now that gives me my way up, which is a clean run right off that log. And you're up into what is now going to be the base. So we'll just throw out some floors. Obviously, this can be as large or as small as you want. Oops, we don't want that right there. I don't want a wall halfway up. Now I'm very, very, very particular, so I'm going to build that. Just because when I'm underneath and I'm coming out and of the anthill and I look up, and if I see that, you know, not completed, it's going to bother me. To include those floor pieces, which, you know, obviously those floor pieces are not necessary. That's just extra. And so there's a couple of different ways you can just jump up here. I would really avoid putting anything along the edges out here other than maybe some spike strips. If you have ants that are attacking these walls, I would definitely surround it with spike strips. Like Mike said from the Mike Lowry show, 2 to 3 around the edges, not a bad idea. Unless you decide to walk on them yourselves. And walk on them yourself, and then you might have a problem. But we're just going to continue along this way. Now, some of this is literally just me being a little extra when it comes to how things are set up. I like to have water pretty much all over the place. You can never have too much water, since your canteen only holds 4 pieces. 4 drops, not 4 pieces. And you can always carry way more food than you can water. Now I'm using the window walls here just because they're cheaper. They're only 2. And like I said, this is the actual like base portion of this build. So most of my bases used to have a lot of windows. And now we're just kind of throwing the roof on there. 2 normal pieces, 2 corner pieces, and then 2 more normal pieces across the center here to close it off. And then we've got, you got your roof. Now I did put a door on mine, and I went with the palisade gates because I don't like the look of the little center bars and the center supports. I like this opening. And then you can fill this whatever you want. Like I said, I would definitely be cautious about storing any kind of food in here, just because the ants are crafty little buggers. Even the smoothies, even the workers' comp smoothies, they might go after. So that'd be something else to be really cautious about putting in this space. I'll put that over here. Is your workers' comp smoothies, if you're going to use them. But this would be a great spot to have, like I said, a base, even if it's something small like this. You don't have to be nothing major. You can get lots of ant parts. You can get lots of acid glands for bug rubber and things like that. If you're making bounce web towers and you're running out of the rubber for the bounce webs, you can either have one just that sitting outside, which is a very simple, very effective build, or you can have an actual little base. As you see, the roof is big enough for I can't make the jump, a zipline anchor. So if you wanted, you could literally have a zipline on the top and bringing you in with no problem. To set that up, I would not put a bounce web on something like this because those walls will make your bounce web sound like it's a machine gun going off constantly. But that'd be a quick little, this side will use stairs. I don't know why that, oh, this is in the way. We'll put it on this side then. But these are all just options. Obviously, you don't have to do anything in your world you don't want to. Or if you want to just do something like that down there, it works perfectly fine. For the stairs. Okay, I wanted that to be all the way against the wall, not halfway. Thanks, game. There's a box in the way now. There's so many things in the way. So obviously you're going to want to lay that blueprint before you complete that box, since acorn shells are bit of a pain. Now you can just do that if you want to do something simple to jump up to, but if this is going to be your incoming anchor, you may not need to build a way up here at all. But if this is high enough up and you got zip lines like I do that are ridiculously tall, they can all zip in, and then you can go in here, say you want to get ant eggs or what have you, you can do that, and you zip in, drop down through the door, go get your ant eggs, and come back out. Obviously, like I said, be careful of your own spike strips coming through the door. That could be very lethal. Or don't even do that at all. Leave these on the outside, and then you can just have a little base that goes over the top, leaving the front of this open to let the ants out. It is all up to you how you want to set this up. If you want to use any of this at all, it's up to you. But I just wanted to kind of go through how I set up my ant traps. I wanted to show off one of my viewers' builds that she has in her world. Thank you, Spilltcoffee, for that. This little well, it's an octagon because in her world she has she has walls that go further out. She has it where it's the inner wall, there's a space, and then there's outer walls. But either way, it's still a very, very neat looking building, and I definitely wanted to use it. I did get her permission before anybody tries to say I didn't. I did get her permission to use her idea in this video. I've also talked, like I said, to the Mike Lowry show, and he wanted me to build this as well because he was encouraging me to build to see what I could come up with. So we have this little outpost. We have this simple little setup here for keeping your ant population low. And that's the key to help with your lag. If you're running out of lag, if you're running into a lot of lag, especially into the anthill, you need to build some sort of passive way to constantly kill the ants. Yes, you can just put on mint mallet, maybe some ladybug armor or what have you, and go in there and destroy all the ants all day long. It's up to you. I find this to be very effective. I don't have to worry about killing ants. If I need ant parts, I just go to my traps, collect what I need to collect. I don't have to fight anything. I can go to the anthill. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I got 10 ant eggs without doing anything other than going in the anthill with a torch and picking them up. I didn't have to kill anything. I didn't do anything special like that. But that is just my take on making that work, making it effective. But if you guys like this content, would like to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. And until the next video, y'all have a good one.